This is Baby Diva. She's reading Edgar Allan Poe. I got her for $5. Isn't that a steal? So over the past 6 weeks, I have been accumulating way too many books. You know, I kind of have like 24 new books, which is so much. And I want to make it clear, I do not support overconsumption and just like buying a million things. Most of these books are from the thrift store, so they're being reused, and I do support that. There's a couple that I bought from like chain bookstores, but they were on sale. But also it's like not as good as a thrift store. But yeah, I have 20 something books to show you guys. Okay, so first I'm gonna start off with the bad purchases, which are from the chain bookstore from my local mall. It's not a locally owned bookstore, and I probably should not have bought them, but they were half off, and I didn't think I would find them at the thrift store. So I have Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan. This has really good reviews across BookTube, so I'm hoping it's good. And I think it's sad. And who's not sad during winter? It's a very Christmassy book, I think. Yeah, it circulates around Christmas, so hopefully I'm gonna read it in December. And then my other book is Young Mungo, which I am so happy about. I've been wanting to read this so bad. People say it gives a little life, which is a little concerning, but also good. So, I don't know. I haven't read A Little Life. It is, I can't see it, but I do have it. It's way up there on that bookshelf. And that's one of my goal books for the end of the year. I really want to read A Little Life, but people say this is on the same level. And they both have very good reviews, but also lots of trigger warnings. This one was like $6, and so that's probably over half off, isn't it? It is. Okay, this was $6, and this was, I think, $8. I think that's like not that bad. And again, I want to be clear, I bought these across multiple weeks, like August and September, and the first week of October so far. A lot of these books were like $1 or less. In fact, every book but these two and the two I'm about to show were $1 or less. So apart from the bookstore in the mall, I had the local bookstore. I do support locally owned businesses. This is one of them. I love this bookstore, but I probably shouldn't have bought this because I already have a copy of it and I haven't read it yet. But in my head, I thought that the copy I had was like not readable because the pages are falling apart and it's old. It's Crime and Punishment. But then I got back to my apartment and the book was actually in pretty good condition. And I was like, oh no, why did I just buy the same book I already had? This is the copy I already had. It's such a cool cover. But for some reason, I bought this like table copy. Like, this is so tabletop worthy. It has like its own bookmark in it. And it was $7. But for some reason I was really feeling it and I just bought it. So I have 2 copies of Crime and Punishment. And then from that same store I got A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. And a lot of singer-songwriters, you know, musicians love this book. So I wanted to read it. Hopefully I will actually pick it up. And then I got this for free somewhere, but it's Ulysses. Don't know if I said that right. By James Joyce. And also, again, a lot of musicians like this book. But it's 700 pages, and I would be really surprised if I actually pick it up, if I'm being honest. So we'll see if I get to that ever in my lifetime. Now we're on to the really cheap books from the thrift store. So one of my local thrift stores I go to is a little religious, churchy thrift store. I am not religious, but they have good deals in there, so I do occasionally pop in. And typically all their books there are less than $1. The most expensive one I have is $1.25. It's only one in the rest of this haul that's over $1. And it's the Midnight Library. I thought it would be worth it. Hopefully it is. But I'm seeing a lot of controversy about it on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but I looked up books on TikTok just to see what people say. And basically this girl is really depressed and she decides to end her own life, but right when she does, she wakes up in a library, and every book in the library is full of kind of like a choose your own path, I suppose. It's full of what her life could look like if she did different things. So I think it has a very good concept. I hope it's good. I'm a little skeptical because of the reviews, but it has good reviews on Goodreads, so I want to see what I think. Then for 75 cents, I have Less, and this won the Pulitzer Prize. I had never heard of it, but it is gay, so I did naturally pick it up. I don't know much about it though, like at all. Then again, for 75 cents, I have Cormac McCarthy's The Road. I read all of the Pretty Horses in high school, and I made a terrible video project about it. I would hate to rewatch that now. I was like 14, I want to say. But it's been a while since I read Cormac McCarthy. I heard this is depressing, and when the leaves start to fall, this book will probably correlate with my emotions. It isn't my fall TBR this year. We'll see if I get to it. I've also got some Tennessee Williams here. He writes plays. And I like it, A Streetcar Named Desire, so I got The Glass Menagerie. Menagerie. I might be saying that really wrong. I like the cover of it, but this was 50 cents. So I bought it. And then this was 75 cents, but has 4 of his plays in them. I don't know any of them, but hopefully there's a good one in there. And I also have Anthem, which was also 50 cents. And I read this in 8th grade with my class, but I want to revisit it. I also read this in high school with my class, and it was 75 cents, but it's Beloved by Toni Morrison. And I really want to get into Toni Morrison. She has so many good reviews across the board for all of her books. And I did buy another one of hers that I'll get to here in a minute. Done with that store. And we're moving on to my next thrift store. I have a local thrift store that's open on Fridays, sometimes Wednesdays, but every Friday I go there at 8 a.m. because I have to make sure I see the book selection before the resellers get to all the books. There's so many people in there that go and they scan everything, and if it beeps, they put it in their cart. Like, I don't know if they're shopping for thrift books or what, but it makes me so annoyed because I want to actually read them and buy them right now for cheap. So they do like $1, any book you see, flat, $1. But they had some special deals in the beginning of September, and I think late August, and the books were 75 cents. So, starting with that, I have The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. I read this before. This seems to be a common theme. I've read it before. I don't remember a single thing, so I really want to read it. I also want to read this. It's Fahrenheit 451. And then I have Breakfast of Champions. I have not read any of this man's books yet. I'm really trying to read Slaughterhouse-Five. It's on my nightstand. Okay, this next one. I have to reiterate, it was 75 cents. 75 cents. Miss Donna Tartt's The Secret History. I am so happy about this one. It's a mystery. My friend's reading it. I keep getting teasers from her and I want to read it so bad. And I've also heard it's dark academia. So we're in the season for that. I might just pick it up. I have lots of choices, as we can see. I don't know what I'm actually gonna end up reading, but this is on my list if I get to it. I love mysteries. I think I'm gonna love this. And then next, I have a book in a series. It's the Neapolitan series by Elena Ferrante. This is the second book in it. I think, yes, this is the second book. It's my last 75-cent book. But, I got this one for $1 when they dropped the 75-cent sale. And this is the third one. Don't judge it by the cover because honestly, if I'd seen this and I knew nothing about it, I'd be like, no. But if you need a podcast recommendation, I recommend Bingetopia with Julia Hava and Eliza McLean. I love them so much. And Bingetopia recommended this book series. So if they recommend it, then I have to try to read it. And I know somebody who's read it and they loved it. It's their favorite series. So I really hope that I like it too. I already have the first book. It's, again, not visible, but it's up there. The books, I think, they're originally published in Italy. And it's like translated from Italian to English. And I've never read anything like that, so I'm excited. And I know that this series has something to do with best friends and, like, I guess their timeline, like, throughout life. And some parts are really sad, I've heard. So, all right, back to the dollar bucks I have. I have The Great Alone, but it's pretty big. But I thought $1 was good, and it's like a really new book. It's a nice copy. And then I also have Truman Capote's In Cold Blood. I love this cover, and it's in such good condition. Such good condition. People were murdered. And I think it kind of like, I don't know, explores why that happened. Not sure. I know some musicians like this book too. Hopefully it's good. I tend to put a lot of faith in musicians. I don't know if I should, but I'll find out. And then my last little set here is from the same store, but 2 of these books were 20 cents and one was 25 cents because they had a deal going on. Buy 5 small mass paper books for $1, and that makes the books 20 cents each. So me and my friend went in on that deal, and I got 2 books, she got 3. So I got these 2 for 20 cents. And it's Stephen King's Salem's Lot. I love this cover. I think it looks so cool. It's his second novel, which I didn't know. And it has vampires in it. It's about vampires. And I am a Twilight girl. So, time to venture outside of Twilight and see what other vampires there are. And I have this beautiful, look at this cover. Look, beautiful copy of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This book, I am reading this month for sure. Like, pinky promise, I'm reading it. I have a lot of like spooky books I want to read, but they're all written by men. They're dominating the horror genre, I guess. Take Stephen King, for example. But this is a woman. This is written by a woman. So I have to read it. I'm very excited about it. This is so beautiful. And she also wrote it when she was 18. What was I doing at 18? Online school? Nothing like this, I am sure. And then my last book was a steal 25 cents. Toni Morrison's Song of Solomon. I said I wanted to get into Toni Morrison, so hopefully I'll read this at some point. Some point in my future, I will read this book. But it's 25 cents because the mass paperback books, if you didn't do the buy 5 for $1, they were just 25 cents. They still had them on a sale. And for some reason, the girl thought this was mass paperback, like the small ones, like this size. It's definitely not, but you know, I wasn't gonna complain. I took it for 25 cents. So that concludes my book haul. I know there's a lot. Again, I probably shouldn't have bought that many books, but I'm also just starting to read. This year, actually, I think I just started really reading this year. And I'm trying to build a library and give myself some options because I'm a mood reader mostly. I just kind of read what I want to when I want to read it. And if I start reading something and I'm like, this is not what I'm feeling right now, I just quit reading it. I always make a plan, like, I'm gonna read this book, then this one, then this one, and I make like an order, like, oh, I have like 5 days to read this, and then I'll read 5 books this month. I have never once actually followed that, so I'm just a true mood reader. And then I wanted to give myself a lot of options, so I have a lot of options now. My bookshelf, I'll do a bookshelf tour one day. Not right now, but yeah, I have my little skinny bookshelf up there and I'm gonna fill it. So that's so exciting to me as a new reader. Because now I have a lot to read, but it's also stressful because, oh no, I have too many things to read. But hopefully I have a long life ahead of me and lots of motivation to read. Let me know what your favorite book I found was. My favorite one, personally, for the cheapest, is A Secret History. I can't believe I found that for 75 cents. I think that's crazy. But apart from the cheaper ones, I'm gonna have to go with Young Mungo. I'm so excited to read this, but I think I'm gonna read A Little Life first. We'll see what I do. I'll let you guys know. People are being so loud outside. Please go away. I heard them say bye.